let's talk about the second half, as I call it. The time in your life where the primary question changes and you stop asking things like, what can I achieve? What can I prove to other people? What can I prove to the world? And you start asking the question, what is life really about? What is the real meaning of life? What's the meaning of my life? What really matters to me? What are my values? And I've been supporting people through this transition pretty much all of my life, all my adult life. In my early 20s, I became a personal trainer or a fitness coach. And I say that because personal trainer sounds like just physical. But from day one, I became a coach. Even my first promo board for personal training, where you invite people to come and have a conversation with you, to work with you as a personal trainer, mine was all about the text under my profile picture was about living your best life, about being the best version of yourself in body and mind. And always, since day one, it was never about the physical. It was about transforming your whole life. And I started selling. As soon as I started coaching people and training people, the first book I studied was sports psychology. And from then, I just went straight into psychology, human performance, why we do what we do, why we don't do what we don't do, how we change our life by changing our thoughts, how we change our behaviors, our reactions, our eruptions, by taking control of our thoughts, our psychology. And yeah, I've pretty much been doing, like I said, all of my adult life. But even then, in my early 20s, my clients would come in, think they're coming to lose weight. And then, like one particular client, she was an investment banker, and she came to lose weight. And halfway through, she said, "You made me realize that it was never about weight for me, it was about happiness. And now that you've helped me, because I can't make anyone happy, you've helped me become happier. I'm not so obsessed about my weight anymore, because I thought it was the weight that would make me happier. But actually it was about aligning my life to what really matters to me." Oh no, we're going to get caught in this red light. Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Are we going to make it? Oh. Yes, we're going to make it. We're just on our way to pick our kids up from school. One of the many benefits of aligning your life to what matters to you, what's important to you, or most important to you. So ever since I started supporting people, being in their corner, it's always been about returning back to who you are, alignment to what matters to you most, your values, the people you love, and stop chasing. Or stop chasing the wrong things. And another example was one of my clients who became a very, very close friend of mine and a mentor of mine. He was very, very successful at one of the biggest companies in the world. I mean, on a crazy salary, extremely successful. But that's his whole life was about achievement. And the first half of your life, some people have a client in Dubai right now, he's 30, right? And he's at this wake-up call that he wants to start the second half of his life at 30, but it can happen at 40, it can happen at 50, it can happen at 60. It's just a moment in time where you realize that the life that you're chasing, or the life that you're in, that you've been chasing forever, isn't actually the life that you want. And here's this man, very respected, very successful financially, and built a really good life for his family. But he came to my house one day when I was living in the UK, And long story made very short, he said, I'm depressed, I don't like myself, and if it wasn't for you, I probably would have taken my life by now. A very successful man. And he went on to retire early, resign and retire. And now he just spends his life adventuring and mentoring young entrepreneurs, startups, SMEs, young business owners, or actually all business owners, but at the early stages of business and entrepreneurship. But he only does it when he feels like doing it. He doesn't force himself to do anything. And most of his time is spent on his bicycle. Really, for me, living out one of my dreams, which is just to cycle everywhere. And he's just doing it. And I'm living vicariously through him, through his pictures and his videos. And so is my community, because he's in my WhatsApp community with other people that are in my inner circle, previous clients, people that I'm close to. And I can give you example after example after example where people thought they were going after one thing, but by doing that, they still felt like something was missing. And then by working with me and asking different questions, like, what does life really mean to you? What matters to you? What's important to you? What's non-negotiable to you? If you didn't need money, what would you do for the rest of your life? What makes you come most alive? What excites you the most? And I've got hundreds and hundreds of questions that I can ask. And what makes anyone a good coach or mentor is knowing what question to ask at what time, to what person. And this is a skill that I have mastered over many, many years. And I'm very blessed to be able to help people step into their second life. Sorry, I'm just watching a motorbike, trying to decide whether he's in the left lane or the right lane, like many people, including the guy that hit us from behind last week, or this week, last week.
Last week.
When was it? Sunday.
Yeah. Sunday.
And I always say this, I've never taught from theory, I've never taught from a textbook. I might study theory, I might read textbooks, I might read books, listen to podcasts, etc. But I only ever teach, ever, on experience. And the reason why I now call this moment in your life the second half, and why I name it like that, is because I had exactly the same experience. At the age of 37 years old, I was very successful. I had just that in that last year, I had my most successful year financially. In the space of 2 weeks, my birthday, my father's birthday, my father took his own life. But for me, that time of the year, July, has always been the most significant month of the year for me, because I grew up also put on me from my mother, because she was in fear every day of her life that her 3 sons would take their life because of what their father what their father did. And one day my mom told me when I was young, she said, every day of my life I have that fear. Every time the phone rings, I have that fear. Man, it's not a nice way to live. I wish I could take that pain away from my mother. But so for me, growing up, I always wanted to be the exact opposite, which is why in my life I've made a lot of big decisions in July, because I always step up. You know, I made a decision last year, July, that I wanted to stop doing something, start doing something. This July, I've been in the same phase of, you know, what matters to me. And now to me, it's so clear to me. It's to create a life that allows me to be with my family. It's not more complicated than that. Still serve, still inspire, still be an athlete, but I don't want to do anything that takes me away from my family. And that's just for me personally. That's my second life. You know, I say this jokingly or playfully, but if I can make Nat, my partner, successful, and I just take care of the kids, that to me is like a dream life. Now, obviously I couldn't just do that. A man needs to have purpose, and man needs to have something to stretch towards, to be driven, to achieve, etc. So I'm always going to have projects and investments and challenges. If you know me, you know I can't live without challenges. I love to challenge myself. Actually, I wrote down in my journal this morning, what's my next challenge? And that for me is what the second half of my life is about. And I don't expect anyone to live like that. You can't live my life, because that'll only create more suffering for you. You've got to know what your second half is about. And what the second half for me is about purpose. It's about presence. It's about brotherhood, having at least one deep, meaningful relationship in your life. This is so important. As a successful business person, you need to have at least one deep, meaningful relationship where you don't need to perform and pretend. You don't need to put up a mask or put up a facade. You can be real. And that is what I provide for my private clients. I provide them a conversation. I provide them with a person, a space where they can stop fucking pretending and be like, oh, look at me, I'm so successful. And they can talk about the truth and what's really going on. And that is very powerful. And then that truth and those honest conversations wrapped up with radical accountability, that's basically what I do for my clients. I give them truth and accountability, and the result of that is more alignment. And because they then become more aligned because of truth and accountability, they have more fulfillment, they have more peace, more happiness, more joy, more presence in their values, presence with the people that they love, and the things that truly matter to them. And I do that over 100 days. Just over 3 months, where my clients commit to a radical transformation. But it is rarely a radical transformation, and it is a commitment to that radical transformation. And therefore, when like one person has been speaking to me on Instagram, said, oh, I'm just letting you know I'm still thinking about working with you. I said, I'm not right for you. If you're still thinking about working with me, that's you're not ready for the second half of your life. You're just interested in a little bit of coaching. Like go get a $100 coach or something like that. Go get a coach on Google, or go use ChatGPT. But if you're thinking about what it is that you want to do with me, and you don't know, like, I'm ready for a different life, then you're not ready to work with me. And that's okay. That's okay. Most people aren't ready to work with me, either because they're not ready to commit to a completely different life to what they've built. And it might be the same in some way, but it's a commitment to say, I no longer want to live that life. I feel like there's a better life for me, and I want to commit to creating that life and bringing that life into my life. But also, some people aren't ready because they're not ready to hear the truth. And that's just it. I've also worked with people where they work with me for 3 months. By 2 months into the 3 months, they can't deal with what I am making them face. And sometimes the last 2 or 3 sessions, I don't even hear from them, or I don't get check-ins, because I require check-ins. I require a very close relationship with my clients. And the check-ins slow down, and they start canceling sessions and rescheduling. And I'm like, fucking hell, this person isn't ready. They're still locked into by fear, or by conditioning, or by sorry about that. Hope you can still hear me. For whatever reason, they just keep being pulled back to their old life, and they just can't jump into that new life. And that's okay too. But when you're ready, you will know. You will know. And when you are ready, I will be here.